Sofia here from CoachSofiaFitness.com, and today I have for you 5 exercises to strengthen and activate the gluteus maximus. So the gluteus maximus is the largest muscle in the body. So the glute max is connected to the sacrum, the ilium, the thoracolumbar fascia, which connects also the glute max to the latissimus dorsi. So both of these muscles work to stabilize the sacroiliac joint, and the sacroiliac joint is made of the sacrum and ilium. So making sure this muscle is engaged and active is going to ensure that you avoid dysfunction and instability. One of the signs of a weak glute max is an exaggerated anterior pelvic tilt, and there are many other signs that I'm going to be including in the blog post that I have below if you want to learn more about this muscle. And if you do have this posture, I highly recommend that you work on foam rolling the quads and releasing the psoas before working on activating and strengthening the gluteus maximus, because very overactive and tight hip flexors are going to limit and hinder the glutes to fully engage, and we really don't want that. I always start by releasing the hip flexors, and I always notice a huge improvement in my hip mobility, as well as allowing me to perform the glute max exercises better. So when the hip flexors are very tight, they're going to pull you forward, and then you're not going to be able to go into that full hip extension. Like, you can just imagine this happening. So what we want to do is we want to inhibit the front hip flexors so that the glute max can go into that full extension. So right now I'm going to move and show you my favorite 5 glute max exercises that you can do at home. And also I'm going to be including some variations as well so that we can isolate this muscle even more. So number 1 is the glute kicks, and make sure that you're stable here. You keep your hands underneath your shoulders and keep your core engaged. Again, you want to go into that full extension, and at the top, hold for a couple seconds just so that you can feel that contraction and feel your glutes working. And go back into starting position. You can either do one leg at a time or you can alternate. A second variation to this is doing the same thing with your legs extended. When we have our legs straight, then we're going to be also working a little bit of our hamstrings. So both of the muscles will be working together, which there's nothing wrong with that. Muscles usually like to work and train together, but just keep in mind that if you want to isolate the glutes, then you'll want to bend your legs. The next exercise is the reverse hyperextensions, and with this exercise I want you to focus on the contractions here. It's not about going high or trying to go as high up as possible, because we don't want to transfer anything to the lower back. So make sure that you're stable and make sure that you focus on the movement and the contraction at the top. Really squeeze your glutes and slowly release. Again, with our legs bent here, we're isolating the gluteus maximus. To engage the hamstrings in this exercise, you can do it with your legs straight. If you're going to use a stability ball, then you're going to be engaging your core as well and working also on stability, which is great. So you'll be working your core, your glutes, as well as your hamstrings too. The next exercise is going to be hip extensions with the loop band. Again, I want you to focus on that contraction. If you don't have the resistance band, that's fine. You can do this exercise without it, but it really adds a lot of, it really adds more challenge. And one thing about this exercise kind of brings me back to what I talked about at the start of this video about releasing the quads and the hip flexors. If the hip flexors are very tight and overactive, that would limit you in how much extension and how high up you can lift your legs right now. So working on releasing the hip flexors and the quads will allow you to get more mobility, more range of motion as you're doing this exercise, and being able to lift your legs higher up. So the last exercise is going to be the cable pull throughs, and it is one of my most favorite exercises, and usually I do it at the gym, but I had to get creative. So what you'll need is a longer resistance band with handles. I didn't find anything here around me that was heavy, so I'm just anchoring them to my kettlebells, but find like a heavy table or anything really that you can use as an anchor, and you want to pull the band from underneath you, create a resistance, and from there you want to hinge at the hips while keeping your core engaged and your glutes engaged, and just like you're doing a deadlift. And from there you're going to pull the cable with your hips, not your arms. I don't want you using your arms to pull the cable, so make sure the arms are not doing any work. Pull the cable using your hips until you go up, squeeze your glutes, and then go back up again. But remember that you're not supposed to be pulling the cable with your hands or your arms here. So make sure all of the work is done by the glutes. So I hope you guys enjoyed these exercises. You can pick a few of them to incorporate into your current workouts, or you can just do them back to back. Just make sure that you're allowing enough rest between sets so that you're not fatiguing the muscle, because these are mostly focused on isolating the glute max. But just remember that the gluteus maximus is the largest muscle in the body, and it's designed to be the strongest. So, just don't be scared to exercise and train this muscle. So a few exercises to engage and activate this muscle is really going to help you maintain hip stability, avoid hip dysfunctions like piriformis syndrome. Also, one last tip: when you're doing these exercises, make sure that your feet are mostly straight, except for the last exercise. But when you are doing things like the hip extensions, you don't want your leg to be externally rotating, because then you're going to be compensating with the piriformis muscle. So make sure that all of the exercises that you're keeping your feet straight. So thank you guys for watching, and if you are new here, do not forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.